Good evening. In 1991, India unlocked its economy, triggering decades of unprecedented growth. We expected this rising tide to lift all boats. But instead, a fascinating and troubling paradox emerged. As our GDP soared, our female labor force participation rate actually stagnated and then steadily fell. By 2017, it had a historic low of just over 23%. Economists often point to the feminization U hypothesis, which suggests that as economies transition away from agriculture, women drop out of the workforce before re entering through formal educated sectors. But in India, that upward swing has been painfully slow. We find ourselves in a situation where we are trying to run a geopolitical and economic powerhouse at half the capacity. Today, headlines celebrate a recent bounce back, with participation reaching 41.7% in 2024. But as future business leaders, we must look deeper at the data. This surge is heavily driven by rural women entering informal or unpaid agricultural roles. When we look at the formal economy, a different story unfolds. In the corporate pipeline, women too often become the proverbial wallflowers, present yet sidelined before they ever reach the center of the room. We hold roughly 33% of entry level roles, but only 17% make it to the C suite. The broken rung in middle management means men are over two times more likely to be promoted to managerial roles than women. Why does this pipeline leak so early? The primary barrier is a massive operations bottleneck, the disproportionate burden of unpaid care. The data is stark. Indian women spend an average of 363 minutes a day on domestic and caregiving work. Men spend just 123. Coupled with this is the pink tax, the premium women pay for safe mobility in urban spaces, a deeply entrenched patriarchal norms that view women's incomes as secondary. When you combine these factors with rigid, inflexible corporate structures, the opportunity cost of ambition becomes unsustainably high. We are losing immense talent simply because our workplaces are designed for a society that no longer exists. Fixing this requires more than just social awareness. It demands a rigorous, targeted go to market strategy for equality. Here is a three-phase timeline for intervention. Phase 1, years 1 to 2, the care infrastructure. We must stop viewing childcare as a personal issue and start treating it as a macroeconomic infrastructure. Research shows that a direct public and private investment of just 2% of our GDP into the care economy could create over 11 million jobs while freeing millions of women to enter the formal workforce. Phase 2, years 3 to 5, corporate redesign. The private sector must mandate flexible work frameworks and transparent promotion metrics. We cannot just hire women at the entry level. We must build active sponsorship programs to pull them through the middle management bottleneck. Phase 3, by 2030, scaling regional successes. If we look at state level data, regions like Chhattisgarh have consistently shown remarkable resilience in maintaining high female participation rate. We need to analyze these localized successes and scale their core principles nationwide, specifically by building robust urban care ecosystems. The recent Economic Survey 2026 notes that raising our female labor force participation to 55% by 2050 is absolutely critical for sustaining our high annual GDP growth trajectory. Bringing women to the center of our economic narrative is not an act of charity, nor it is merely a diversity metric to be checked off a list. It is the most critical business strategy of our time. It is time we fix the pipeline, invest in the infrastructure of care, and ensure the missing half of our economy finally takes its rightful place. Thank you.